Attorney Conti, we invited you tonight because when news of the arrest warrants broke, these 3 arrest warrants broke, everyone could not help but compare it to the case of former President Rodrigo Duterte here in the Philippines. 2 months ago, I believe you went on the record, you said it's not exactly the same, no? Kasi may gulo pa doon, marami pang namamatay tuloy yung dahas doon. And that's why mas may sense of urgency. You also said at that time, 2 months ago na, nag-apply na si Prosecutor Karim Khan ng arrest warrants. And here we are today, we've seen it. Can you talk us through like the basic similarities or maybe the differences as with the case of former President Duterte, because you've also said before, no, that you've been trying to prove na ongoing pa rin itong kumbaga drug war, so to speak, to make the case for sense of urgency.
So, as you've mentioned, there is urgency in the Palestine situation because the bombardment is ongoing, and in fact, Israel has even expanded its territorial scope. Pati sa Lebanon, nagbobomba siya. Even Syria, there have been ground incursions. And then we've seen the death toll, and its target really is children and women. In the Philippines, I mean, the worst is over, so to speak, although there are some killings still happening. Most of the killings that have been pinned onto the Dutertes were during 2016, 2017, 2018. So, I would say, from the eyes of the ICC, this would be more urgent. However, we didn't see that kind of urgency in the period of the request and then the issuance. These warrants were requested actually 6 months ago and were just granted now. So, I mean, that could debunk the entire argument about are they seeing this as urgent or are they looking at information or evidence that would support the warrant of arrest. In the Philippines, our advantage is our situation, our investigation has been in place since 2023. Although in Palestine, it has been under consideration since, I think, 2014. At the least, 2023, there was a clear instruction that in the Philippines, an investigation should continue. And we've seen the ICC being very active in looking for witnesses, and even at one point suggesting that there were suspects already. So they have already named 5 suspects, as confirmed even by the Philippine government. So that's Bato, etc., and 4 other chief police. Now, here's the thing. It could be a matter of one, urgency. Is there a need to deter current or ongoing acts? Or second, is it a matter of evidence? On the part of the Philippines, we think the development is that because of the Quadcom hearings, because of the Senate investigation, there have been recently new information or, as we say, admissions on the part of President Duterte as regards the killings. And that could lead or that could pin him down within the framework of this ongoing investigation, where the question is, so kapag investigation, ang tanong ay, sino ang pinaka-responsable? And we've heard the person claim that he was most responsible for this. And I would say that should signal the end of the investigation and move us towards trial.
On the other hand, though, Attorney Conti, no, just to kind of see it from all angles, if can't the Quadcom investigations, that whole series of it, already be considered as an ongoing investigation, although we all know that it is for legislation or in aid of legislation, but can that be considered as an ongoing investigation and therefore kind of laid credence that our justice system is working, etc., etc.?
May oath naman kasi, di ba? Yun ang sinasabi.
Well, because you've also qualified the investigations as in aid of legislation, ang resulta niyan ay papel report o kaya batas. And clearly, it is not the same kind of investigation that the ICC has its finger on. They are looking at investigations that will lead to criminal prosecution. And it's only that kind of investigation where the same conduct, the same perpetrators are being investigated and eventually will be prosecuted. So sa atin, hindi pa yon. I would say, and moving forward, I would say that it could be the DOJ investigation which was announced by Secretary Rimulya, that they were looking at crimes in RA 9851 for possible charges against Duterte. So that could be a reason for the ICC to step back. However, and here is where President Duterte has to make a decision. However, the jurisdiction or admissibility, kumbaga dito papasok yung pwede bang mag-exercise ng jurisdiction yung ICC. That question was already questioned or raised by the Philippine government in 2021. And they lost the issue. In July 2023, it was made clear that the ICC retains jurisdiction over crimes within that period and within this territorial jurisdiction, and that it could continue with the investigation. Kumbaga natapos na yung issue. These Quadcom investigation and DOJ investigations are supervening events. So they happened after the decision. Someone has to raise the question again. And I would say that the only person or most probable entity to question that jurisdiction, again, would be Duterte coming forward to the ICC and claiming that the ICC has no jurisdiction over these crimes. So I guess that's a precarious situation for him,
how would that
because
work?
that would be accepting the jurisdiction of the ICC.
Yeah, how would that work? How would President Duterte has been obviously super anti-ICC for a while now. I cannot picture him even approaching. What good would it do him? Can you help us see, Attorney Conti, kung meron bang maitutulong yun sa kanyang kaso?
Well, yes. Because if he questions jurisdiction at this stage, then maybe he can stave off or he can prevent the issuance of a warrant of arrest. When he questions or anyone questions the jurisdiction of the ICC, formally, hindi yung ano na lang ina-announce na, wala namang jurisdiction ng ICC. Formally, you have to engage. Because the question has already been resolved on the part of the ICC. It's not an issue right now. It's a non-issue. So someone has to raise it.
So it has to
And
be only...
when you talk about jurisdiction, it goes into the very meat of the case. Kumbaga, is the ICC qualified or is it authorized to hear the case? And if not, then it cannot proceed with the identification of perpetrators, it cannot issue a warrant of arrest, and so forth. So that's a suggestion.
Okay. But
Actually,
is
that's
he
a
the only one,
possibility.
Attorney? Siya lang ba pwede? Tanging siya lang? Specifically, the
Well,
former president?
there
Could it
could
be
be
somebody
others.
else? There could be others.
Yes, there could be others, of course. But at this rate of the investigation and in the investigations in the Philippines, there's only one person claiming responsibility for these crimes against humanity. I'm seeing that it could be also any of the 5 police officials who were identified as quote-unquote suspects. So that's Bato, Albayalde, Mata, Karamat, and Leonardo. So these police officials could also come forward and say, we would like to cooperate, quote-unquote, with the ICC and give you our thoughts. So they could do this in the form of submissions before the ICC. And in these submissions, they could raise the jurisdiction. Actually, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-imbestiga, or actually, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-prosecute. So I guess that's the only way right now, because the ICC will continue investigating unless there is a formal submission that it should stop.
Okay, Attorney, quickly, you did say previously that the ICC notice or the summons could come within the year. Do you still see that happening? I mean, it's already November, 1 month na lang, tapos na po ang 2024. Could that still happen within the year?
Well, I'm hoping yes. Although, hindi ko lang alam yung mga nag-ano dyan, nagpupustahan. Baka matalo eh.
Ganun na ba?
Of course, I can always say, I hope they will be issued within the year. There's still 1 month to go. However, of course, if it does not, there is no development, then of course we have 2025 to look forward to. We're looking at the specific chamber. So this is pre-trial chamber 1, which issued the warrants for Israel. We're looking at, logistical considerations in the court. They actually just changed or replaced some of the judges in the court. That's why we're thinking there could have been delay in the sense that the new judges had to catch up with the readings. And as what happened in Israel, in the Palestinian case, I guess they have already caught up with the reading in this situation. I am confident that they will eventually catch up to the readings in the Philippine situation. So it could be anytime soon. And again, we're not discounting the possibility that warrants of arrest have already been issued in the Philippine situation, but have not yet been unsealed. So secret kasi ito. So investigation proceedings are actually or should be kept confidential, except if the ICC or any of the parties deem it within the interest of the larger public to unseal or to disclose.
Which is
so talagang secret ang
which
rule.
is the case,
exception is you announce it.
Kay Putin.
Oo, dito sa Israel-Hamas
Netanyahu.
conflict. Sabi nila, hindi na daw busy si Prosecutor Karim Khan. Kaya may time na siya para dito sa Pilipinas. Ayun nga ang
Could be, but
usap-usapan.
also there's this point that I want to clarify this. The Office of the Prosecutor has many officials
Okay.
and many employees.
Hindi lang isang
and
tao.
for the Philippines, we have two assigned, two other assigned prosecutors. So I'm hopeful that given that we have two persons or three persons, including Karim Khan, so kahit umexit pa si Karim Khan, actually you just need the prosecutor mainly during trial. During case build-up, yung stars of the show mo dyan ay yung investigators. So I'm pinning my hopes on them that they sooner or later finish the investigation and determine who is most responsible. But what I always say is this, baka nga hindi na lang yung question ng investigation ang tinatapos nila. So the question during investigation is, who is most responsible? Maybe they've already answered that. They are just now, even as early as this, preparing for trial, where the question is, are the persons that we brought to court guilty? And that's the kind of lawyering that we do actually. You have to be sure until the very end that you secure a conviction. And you don't go to trial if you don't think you will win.
All right.
So I think, and I'm confident that the ICC is looking at a conviction in our situation.